It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, a good day, everybody, and welcome to County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller, and we're happy to have in studio again today with us. Brian Bergner visited not terribly long ago, representing the Yavapai Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And Brian, welcome back. Good to see you. Good to talk to you as always.
Thanks to have us on, Brad. Really appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Fun things coming up here. Not too far down the road. They're going to come up on us very, very quickly, as things in springtime seem to do. You brought a guest and someone else who was very involved, not only with Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters, but with our community at large. And Clarkdale Councilwoman, can we say Councilwoman, Councilperson?
Councilwoman's fine.
And fairly new to that position.
Yes, and fairly new.
Thank you for being a part of that. Laura Jones today with Yavapai Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And Laura, I want to start with you, as we hear so often folks who get involved in charitable and terrific nonprofit type organizations like Bigs and Littles. You yourself have a personal story, kind of steered your involvement to the group.
Yeah, sure. In 2011, I declared it the year of the volunteer, and so I volunteered at anything anybody asked me to do. And one of those things was to become a big. And so I became a big to a young man who was 9 at the time. And we were partnered for many, many years, and we had a wonderful experience together.
And you were hooked.
I've been hooked, and I've been a tax credit donor for years. And about 2 years ago, when they needed someone to work in the Verde office, I came in and I work part-time, just doing whatever they kind of need me to do. Yeah. So, yeah.
And you find that fulfilling. We often hear that with volunteers. Folks think that whatever the organization is, that I don't have the time. I can't make the commitment. They'll need too much out of me. And you walk away doing volunteer work in almost any realm, and you find yourself satisfied just knowing that you've done something that might not otherwise get done for someone who needs it.
Yeah, you get to do some interesting things, and you get to meet some interesting people in the community, and you really get to have a great impact on the community overall. So.
Well, there's going to be some impact made coming up pretty quickly. There's a number of things on the calendar for Big Brothers, Big Sisters this year, and chief among them, Brian, the Bowl for Kids' Sake 2023, and that's coming up about halfway through April or so to Shake, Rattle, and Bowl in Camp Verde, and this is a pretty big fundraiser. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's April 15th and 16th and 22nd and 23rd this year, and not only is it at the casino at Shake, Rattle, and Bowl, but also, of course, in Prescott Valley at Antelope Lanes, and it's one of our largest fundraisers every year for the bigs and the littles in the program at Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
And this is, I guess, just simply that, a fundraiser? Are we looking for what, teams or captains or corporate sponsors, or what do you need at this point? It's still a little ways out.
It is a little ways out. All of the above, of course. Corporate sponsorship is always a big part of it. People signing up and being team captains and recruiting their teammates. Usually teams of 4 or 5 are looking for, and they of course go out in the community and raise a few dollars, and that gets donated, of course. And then the bowling itself is actually a thank you, really a thank you party for everyone, to thank them for all their efforts in helping raise money for the program.
Talk to me a little bit about, I want to get into, well, let's do that first. I do want to ask you a little bit about where the donations, the pledges, where the funds raised do go, if it's just kind of generally operating expense, or how that works, if there's specific breakout programs or services that come with it. So we'll get to that. I'm hearing this. I think I like the idea of it. I do want to help out Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Do I pick up the phone? Do I show up at a meeting? What's my first step from right now?
The best thing to do is go to azbigs.org, and in that on that website is a button that you can click, sign up your team, and that's a great place to go on. You can put your name, address, phone number, name your team. You can put a photo up, a fun photo or two, and then you can start recruiting from there. There's a way to email people that you know to recruit your team, but that usually going online, azbigs.org, is the best thing to do. You can, of course, always call us, always email us directly if you need some help, but the best way to do it is to go to azbigs.org.
Wonderful. Okay, now clarify for me, this is going to be for single folks or for teams preferably teams of what, 4 probably, or how?
Typically teams of 4 and 5 is what we're looking for. So
Okay.
a lot of companies are going to do it. You know, M&I Windows and Doors, all kinds of businesses across the Yavapai County. They'll do it as a team building experience. They'll recruit people. There are families that just do it that are longtime bowlers that get
Okay.
together. And so usually it's a team setting. I believe there can be some single bowlers that might get paired with other people, but usually they pick a time. They've got 4 dates that they can pick from, and it's usually a 2-hour session, and they get a couple of games with usually some free pizza and food and drink and whatnot. So it's a great time.
What kind of fundraising goals do we have, or is that?
I believe this year's goal is $85,000. Does that sound right, Laura?
Yep. Yeah, that's this year's goal.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we talk about the big picture, that will help do what the coming year?
That funding will, of course, go into the program itself, but one of the biggest things that we are doing this year in 2023 is organizing and getting ready our expansion. We typically serve ages 6 to 18, but now we are moving on to 18 to 24.
Okay.
So that money is going to help us continue to grow, continue to expand, and be able to provide those services. Because as we all know, you don't stop being young and needing advice at age 19 and 20, right? So.
Exactly. Well, and that's a great point. And Laura, your personal first brush with big brothers, big sisters, your young man was a 9-year-old. The needs that a 9-year-old is going to have are going to be way different than 12. And way different,
than 18,
and so on. Certainly different than as we kind of go along. For people who come in as volunteers, like you did, and make a long-term commitment, are you partnered typically with the same little throughout maybe 2 or 3 years, or how does that work?
So we have bigs who have been bigs to more than one little, but on average, our bigs and littles match for about 4 years.
Okay.
And on the national average, it's about a year. So we actually do a lot of really one-on-one support for our bigs and littles to make sure those relationships continue and grow as kids grow and change.
Sure.
Like you said,
Sure.
9-year-old and a 12-year-old are different. But we've been really successful in providing that support to make sure that our matches last longer and our kids get a lot more out of that. And our bigs get a lot out of it. It's not just the kids. Our bigs, our littles and our bigs get a lot out of the program.
We hear that very, very frequently from volunteers with different programs.
Yeah.
What kind of a commitment, say on a daily or a weekly basis, do I have to? I can't afford to take the kid to Disneyland, and I can't afford to go to things like that. It's not really that way, is it?
No, because being a big is really about experiences, and so we say our bigs on average commit 8 to 10 hours a month to their littles, and for example, the thing my little and I used to like to do, we would go hiking, we would take pictures, and then we'd go to Walmart at the end of the day and we'd print out like 10 pictures that were the highlight of the day.
Yeah.
So it was never something that, the idea was not to spend a lot of money, but really just to continue to make experiences for kids.
And a lot of times, Brian, isn't it true that the bigs and littles, they come to the program because they do need an adult in their life, whether it's an academic mentor, whether it's hiking and taking pictures, other artistic kinds of things, maybe athletics. And that goes into the pairing process with bigs and littles. Is that right?
Yeah, and a lot of times you have kids that we serve all kinds of kids. We have families that are in an organization that maybe are raised by just mom and she's working all the time, or maybe a grandparent. Unfortunately, there are some kids that may have a dad or a mom in jail, but there's plenty of kids that have a mom and a dad and they're just working hard. They're hardworking people and they want to have another adult in their child's life to really help them along. And obviously it takes a village. And, these days I feel like we've maybe gotten away from that. But Big Brothers, Big Sisters, I feel is really keys in on that. And it takes a village to raise a family and raise a kid. And we're part of that. So
what a worthwhile cause. We need to take a short break. When we come back, plenty more to talk about. Yet another event on the horizon. We'll mention that. We'll focus a little bit more on letting the good times roll. Bowl for Kids' Sake 2023, one of the biggest events, if not the biggest event, a fundraising event for Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the year. Our guest, Brian Bergner, Laura Jones. We'll break, come back to Countywide right after this.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Service for over 25 years and continues to serve the communities in northern Arizona. Jackson Hewitt is here to help you file your personal taxes. As laws and situations change, your local Jackson Hewitt Tax Service professional stays updated to serve you. Drop off or make an in-person appointment. In Flagstaff, call 213-8626. That's 213-8626. That's 213-8626.
The award-winning experts at Verde Solaire Services offer the trusted Carrier products that help you customize a solution to fit your budget. Verde Solaire is a family-owned business serving the Verde Valley for 38 years with the Carrier products you can rely on. Carrier AC systems are trusted to bring energy-efficient, quiet, consistent comfort. Call 928-567-5315 for a free assessment of your AC and air quality needs. Verde Solaire Services, online at verdesolaire.com, a factory-authorized Carrier dealer.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Matthias Sandoval, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure your goals are top of mind. While you can't control the market volatility, we'll focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 634-1044.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Again, we welcome you back to the program. I'm Brad Miller. It is Countywide, and we're happy to visit today with Laura Jones. Brian Bergner today representing Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters. A number of events coming up in the spring, another coming up in May, a golf tournament we'll talk about here in a little bit. But coming up more quickly on the calendar, April 15, 16, April 22nd and 23rd, Bowl for Kids' Sake 2023. It is one of the biggest events, fundraising events of the year for Yavapai Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and that'll be happening before you know it. Talking about needing teams, team captains, pledge a bowler, however you can become involved. This is a great way to help out with the financial resources principally, and it may grow from there. The relationship, Laura, that you made with your look at what you're doing now, helping out administratively and in different ways.
Yeah.
Talk to me a bit about how you first, the group, the organization comes in contact with young people who are looking for a big brother, big sister.
Well, there are several ways, and I should say one of the other things about the Bowl for Kids' Sake, it is actually one of our biggest recruitment events of the year, too. So
Makes
it is
sense.
one of the places where we talk to a lot of folks who want to become bigs.
That makes sense. Sure.
And then at our azbigs.org, there's information on how to become if you're a parent or a guardian who would like your kid to be involved in the program, they can get information there. And the same as if you want to be a big. It's quite a process to come into the program, and it's a great process because it does allow us to match those bigs and littles together. So it's not just a first come, first serve basis and we match a kid and an adult. We really take the time to get to know the child and what they're looking for and the adult and what they're looking for and make sure that match really works.
Common interest.
Yeah, they have common interest. They want to do things. And again, we think that's part of what make our matches so successful and make them last 4 times longer than the average match does.
Yeah.
So, it's a great way to do that.
And we kind of mentioned some of the things that you do. You hike and take pictures and things like that. Is that twice a week, 3 times? Does it just depend on the relationship that you develop?
It depends on the relationship, and but on average, I'd say bigs and littles probably get together about twice a month.
Okay.
So, and again, it depends on that individual relationship and the availability of people. So it's not, a full-time commitment to be with a kid, but it is to see how that can work with their schedule and your schedule and to find quality things to do.
And it's really fun because there are others. I mean, I know a few bigs and they have a little, and one of their big things they like to do is invite him over and he helps them cook Sunday dinner, something like that. Something as simple as that, just spending a few hours having dinner, watching, a little TV, talking together for an hour or two is something they do almost every week. And that's just something like that is something that's very valuable to the kid.
Yeah, it seems like the youngsters are going to be, we all know, those of us who have children or around children and whatever capacity, that sometimes you can be doing something that's got nothing to do with anything, and it'll end up becoming a conversation about X, Y, or Z. And that's what's on the youngster's mind. And maybe they can't confide in a coach or a teacher or a sibling or whatever the case may be. And it seems to me that that's really the key of what you're talking about, being there in that type of role, not advisory so much as just a shoulder to lean on. Am I seeing it in the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about trust too. I mean,
there you go.
The youngster has to trust who they're talking to, and if they're in their lives on a regular basis, even if it is a couple times a month and whatnot, they're going to be able to feel more able to ask the hard questions, to be able to ask, things that are much needed, in a kid's life,
Right.
And so that opportunity alone, that one-to-one mentoring is what we're all about.
Yeah, and those different ages that Laura described, every age is going to have its unique set of questions and curiosities and inquiries, and so that's going to be kind of part of that as well. You mentioned very briefly the vetting process. There's going to be some fingerprinting and things like that, so don't be surprised as if you were working in a school or things like that. When we're working around young people, we want everybody to feel secure that it is a great environment, and the organization on a national level excels at that, at doing those kinds of things. All right. This fundraiser is just the first, the Bowl for Kids' Sake 2023 coming up in April, Brian. That's the first of a number of things that are happening a little bit further down the calendar, and I think we'll go into more detail in a subsequent program. But the 4th Annual Bob Mariano Golf Classic also is already on the calendar. Can we talk a little about that? That's toward the end of May.
Yeah, Tuesday, May 23rd.
Okay.
It's the 4th Annual Memorial Golf Classic. Of course, Bob Mariano was a big part of our organization years ago. He had a little, and he was a part of our board. And the Mariano family in general has started this golf tournament to to remember him. He was a big golf fan and golfer himself locally in Yavapai County. And so we were at one point the beneficiary of the tournament, and now we've taken on more of a lead role with the tournament itself, helping set it up, and get golfers, get sponsorships and things like that. The Mariano family is still heavily involved. We speak with them, at least once a week, and to carry on the memory of Bob Mariano. So we make sure that that we are doing the right thing on their side.
Isn't that interesting that it meant so much to this gentleman that now the whole family is part of it? I'll bet that's a fairly common story as well.
Yeah,
it just becomes
exactly.
legacy for an awful lot of people. Is there anything about Big Brothers Big Sisters, question for either one of you, that people misunderstand? That people just, when you go having the deep involvement the two of you have, when you're running out, if it comes up in conversation with folks who've never had an experience with Big Brothers Big Sisters, is there any misconceptions or misunderstandings that people have about the organization? Well, we're not sure what it is, or it's been around an awfully long time, and I think most of us have a fairly clear idea, but still.
I think the thing that is important and makes us unique is that we are promoting one-on-one, professionally supported mentoring.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the things that makes us unique is that there is a team, there is a staff team that is there to support those matches. And so our bigs and our littles families all feel really supported in the process and make those matches even more successful. So there's another member to the team in case you're having questions and or you need some support, or the family needs additional support.
Okay.
And so that really, I think, is one of the things that makes us really unique and special.
Okay, meaning like an example would be if your little has a question or a concern or a confidence.
Yeah, or their parents are struggling and need some additional support.
I see.
And
Okay.
and resources. So we help connect families with resources as well as kids.
I just, not too long ago, we've talked with folks from Meals on Wheels. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, you think, well, it's just delivering food to folks.
Right.
And then you find out that's just the way, that's almost the way in.
Yes.
It's about talking to people who may be very lonely, shut in, and those guys. You see that it becomes a bigger thing. And you describing what you just did very much reminded me of that same thing, that it starts as just companionship, perhaps, as simple as that. A friend where there is no friend, and it can become a life-changing kind of thing. The Mariano family, I think, would say that.
Yeah.
It sounds like. All right. Well, terrific. This is great stuff. Certainly, this is an organization that is well worth your time. If you want to volunteer, if you have financial resources you want to put to good use through either of these upcoming events, or at any time, azbigs.org. Best way to get in touch right away. We'll take a short break. We'll come back to Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley for 38 years, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust, designed, engineered, and built in the USA. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates on systems that are quiet and affordable. Verde Solaire is locally owned since 1983 and available for all your heating, air conditioning, and plumbing needs. Call 928-567-5315. Visit them online at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Taxes, taxes, taxes.
It's that time again. This is Lewis with Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. We don't sell cars, we don't do hair or wait tables. We do taxes. At Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, we talk taxes and we prepare taxes. Open year-round for tax filings. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona. For over 20 years, our local preparers have helped neighbors pay their fair share and no more.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service in the Tri-Cities at 772-7872. That's 772-7872.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Brad Miller. Our guests in studio today, Brian Bergner, Laura Jones, Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters. A couple of big fundraisers coming up this spring. The first of those on two different weekends in April, the 15th, 16th, 22nd, 23rd. Bowl for Kids' Sake 2023, one of the biggest fundraisers of the entire year. And to get that underway, Brian, there's a couple of events between now and then to kind of launch or kick off this excitement where you're culling the team captains. Is that right?
That's correct. If you sign up to be a team captain, one of the cool things you get is a shirt, a bowling shirt with the logo of this year's event.
Okay.
And last year they were a big hit. All the captains loved them. It's separate from the regular T-shirt that you actually get just being a bowler.
Oh, okay.
And so we're doing launch parties on both sides of the hill in Prescott and in Conwood here on Saturday, March 4th. And we're in Prescott on our side. We're doing it at Panera Bread from 11 to 2. And for anybody that comes in, it's a free smoothie and cookie. And then, Laura, you guys are doing it at...
Yeah, we're doing it at Black Bear Diner from 9 to noon. And come on in, sign up to be a captain or come to register to bowl, and you will get a piece of pie and coffee. Okay. So come on in.
All right. And this is also, of course, just to kind of organize if folks are new, particularly to this event and don't understand marshalling as a captain or what is required. This is the way to do it.
Absolutely, and it's a chance that if they get into the website and sign up their team and they have questions, we're going to be there to answer them. We have several laptops that'll be set up to help them sign up if they haven't yet. Of course, if they haven't been a team captain, they can sign up there. They can also hopefully pick up their special shirts at that point as well if they've already signed up and want to come in and just schmooze a little bit and talk with other team captains and really just continue to help raise money for the program.
Yeah, if someone is maybe struggling a little bit and is having trouble recruiting, why this would be a great way to get some friends to help out and get this thing done. This is going to be a big, big event. It always is. And it returns coming up again April 15, 16, and April 22nd and the 23rd. The Bowl for Kids' Sake events for Let the Good Times Roll. I love that. I keep seeing that on you. I've got your little flyer in front of me. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I was especially intrigued by Laura, something you said, that this is also big for recruitment. Right. It certainly is aimed as a fundraiser, but getting everybody in, everybody kind of under one roof, even with the pins cracking in the background, it's a great way to get to know one another and more about the program and what Big Brothers Big Sisters does for Yavapai County and its young people. All right, well, thank you very much. It is, again, Laura Jones, Brian Bergner, Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters, the website, and you can find a lot of information about what we've talked about there and more, azbigs.org. So take a look, get signed up, and we'll see you at Bowl for Kids' Sake 2023. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.